Good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Dear Deidre. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, right, can you please go hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, because that's a free way of supporting my YouTube channel, and I really, really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscriber button so you can become a subscriber, and then hit the notification button so you can hear when my Dear Deidres drop, my live unpopular opinions are coming. I'm coming with all my commentary because this year is the year of content creator Khadija. Okay, so stay tuned. All right, so let's get into this Dear Deidre letter. Let's get into this Dear Deidre letter. Y'all know I'm fake old, so I gotta put my glasses on. Why, Lord? Okay, let's get into it. Dear Deidre, I'm the mom of a handsome, ambitious, smart, and respectful 20-year-old who attends a university at Albany. All right. I was a young mom who didn't make all the right choices when it came to parenting, and my son's father was murdered when he was only 4 years old. For most of my teen and young adult life, it's been me, my boy, and his dad's side of the family who have become my family while raising my son. Recently, since he went off to college, I began socializing more and have picked up a new friend group in the process. Last year, when my son was home for Thanksgiving break, I had a Friendsgiving with my new clique and introduced him to my son. One of my new homegirls kept making comments about my son. He's so handsome, or you better watch, baby boy, etc. A few times I saw them engaged in conversation, but I thought nothing of it. Fast forward to this summer when I had my 40th birthday party, and once again, my friend and my son were being very friendly, but I didn't give it much thought. This year at Friendsgiving, my son and his bitch announced they're expecting a baby. I am horrified, and I have not spoken to my son since. I don't know how to approach this without being negative and violent towards her and disappointed and disconnected from him. This was not the future I wanted to give my son by being irresponsible and introducing him to an old bitch that seduced and took advantage of him and is now ruining his future. Please help me approach this in a way that does not alter me and my son's relationship forever. Signed, a regretful grandmother. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let me put my glasses away. Let me take a sip of my drink because we got work to do, right? Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. I don't know if that's in order because what you didn't say is that you were sad about having about being a grandmother, right? What I did hear was that I'm upset with my son for having a baby with this woman and for, in your words, ruining his future, right? Let me say this first. Babies are blessings. Babies are blessings, my dear. Babies are blessings. So, if there is, a baby slated to come in the future, what I will say is no matter how you feel now, when you see that beautiful bundle of joy, your life is going to open up, and especially if it's a granddaughter, only because you already have a son. So having that little boom boom in your life, I imagine, is going to open your heart up in ways you can't imagine. You're actually going to be incredibly grateful for your son. Incredibly grateful to your son for giving you such a gift. Right? So let's start there by me saying congratulations, because I can almost guarantee when the baby is born, you'll have the feelings that I just shared with you. Right? Okay, that's one. Two on the list is that also congratulations on being a woman that has, made, from what I see, some excellent choices on raising your boy. Number one on the list, you said that he's going off to college. He's been able to excel thus far. You've maintained an excellent relationship with his dad's side of the family, even though his dad is not around. It sounds like you have pretty much centered your life around your baby to make sure you can insulate him with the prospect of a beautiful future. Mom, you did an excellent job. Pat yourself on the back. pat yourself on the back. Let me say this about your excellent job. I remember that Pop Smoke, Pop Smoke's dad had come. Pop Smoke graduated from the school across from the school that I used to work in. So I used to work in Brooklyn Democracy Academy, shout out BDA in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and we were on the same floor in that building as Metropolitan Diploma Plus High School. Shout out Metropolitan, right? And at first, Pop Smoke applied to our school, BDA, right? He ended up not getting in, so he graduated from Metropolitan once again. Shout out Metro, right? I worked side by side with them for many years. I love both transfer high schools. What I will say is I never forget, I sat across from Mr. Jackson, which is Pop Smoke's dad, right? And him and I were having a conversation, and Pop Smoke's family is Panamanian, right? And I'm Panamanian. My dad, God rest his soul, right? And I remember that Pop Smoke's dad, he was just saying how frustrated he is with his son because he didn't raise him this way, and he's into this music and all this other stuff when he needs to be into his education, right? And I had the pleasure of meeting Pop Smoke that day, right? God rest his soul. And I remember looking at Pop Smoke and listening to the dad. And one thing that I said to the dad, and I can stand 10 toes down on this because I'm living proof. When you come from good, you return to good. Let me say that to every parent out there who has done their absolute best and bust their ass to give their kid the absolute best life they knew how, right? When you come from good, you return to good, right? Now, let me tell you something about the space in between the coming from and the returning to. It is very tumultuous because before you return to the good, you have to go through some bumps in the road to know that that's where you need to return to, right? The only way for you to know that you come from good is to have them bumps in the road that made you return to good, right? So the reason why I brought that up is because I want to say this to you, Mom. From what you shared in this letter, you have bust your ass along with your baby father's side of the family to give your son the best life you guys know how, right? And it sounds like from what you shared, he happens to be a stand-up young man, right? So if he is that, he's going to be that no matter what the circumstance. So I know you're frustrated and this is not ideal for you. But at the end of the day, I think that you have to trust that all the work that you put in and all the work that your his father's side of the family put in is going to manifest in beautiful ways. Even in the choice that he made for the woman that he chose to have a baby with. And the reason why I have to say this is because what it sounds like from your letter is you only have an issue with the woman because she's a part of your friend circle. I would more so have understood if you had said something like, I don't want him with this girl because, and then you would have laid out, a series of unfortunate events and things she partakes in that kind of makes you kind of look at her like she doesn't deserve to be with your son and things of that nature. I probably would have understood a little more. And maybe there is some things that, you would like to lay out. The only reason why I think it's not that, because 99.9% of the time a person would lead with that. Right? So the first thing you would say is, oh no, well, I don't want him with her because she does this and she's on that and she takes this and she does that and she has this. And you know what I'm saying? You didn't lead with anything other than the fact that she was in your friend group. And it sounds like because of that, you might think that she either has too much life experience or she may be too mature or old for your son. That's the only reason that I'm getting that you don't want her with your boy and you don't want them to be having a baby together, right? And granted, what do I always tell you guys? I'm not a mom. So I can't say what I would want for my 20-year-old as well, right? So I'm not saying that those are not valid feelings. I'm not saying that you shouldn't not want an older woman with your son and her to be having a baby. Those are all valid feelings to own, right? What I am saying is that because you have done your best to raise your son right, and you have instilled in him things that make you proud to be his mother and that make you proud of who he is as a 20-year-old young man, then I'm wondering, is it okay for you to possibly trust that this woman who you may not feel is an ideal choice for him, he may feel it is, and he may not be making a wrong decision? I know that's a lot to ask a mom, right? But don't kill me yet. I'm just saying, him making the right choice in a woman to mother his child is a reflection on the man that you raised. It sounds like you're proud of the man that you raised. So don't you think that you can trust him to make decisions about the women that he takes seriously in his life? And the only reason why I came from that perspective is because, like I said, you have yet to say to me that you have a laundry list of reasons why this is not the right choice for your son. The only information that you provided in the letter is that she's a part of your friend group. Okay, that's one. Two on the list is I feel like from your letter, you and your son are extremely close. I feel like y'all talk about a lot. I feel like y'all spend a lot of time together before he went to school. I feel like it was just like on some mommy and me shit. Like, that's your boy, that's your road dog, so on and so forth. And I feel like you are more hurt that he kept this from you than you actually are about him having a baby. That's just my feeling from the letter. Could be wrong, right? What I will say is, once again, mama love, those are valid feelings. Those are valid feelings. It's okay to be hurt. That's your baby. That is your baby. So it's okay to be hurt that, he did something out of the ordinary, which is he didn't share with you something that's so important to him, right? But I think the other part about that is because he knew that this is not the ideal situation, and because of how close you guys are, he didn't want to disappoint you. And I want to tell you something about this because, once again, it goes back to me being a kid and never a parent. I could identify with having a close relationship with a parent and looking up to them so much that anything that you knew would disappoint them, you stayed away from sharing with them or letting them see or know, because them being disappointed hurt you more than it did them. Right? So I'll give you guys a little side story. I always like to do so. My girl, Miss P. Love her to death. Shout out, Miss P. Right? So I remember I was in high school. I went to elementary and junior high all together. So my kindergarten school was also my 8th grade school, right? So I went from kindergarten to 8th grade in the same school, okay? Which was literally 2 blocks, if that, from where I lived. So everybody and their mother from the school knew my whole family. The crossing guard, everybody, right? So there was no room for when you got in 6th grade to start cutting and all these types of things. Hell no. Okay? Listen, everybody know you. You better not do no F shit. We all know your mama. We got the number. We gonna call her. We gonna spank your ass before she get here. All of that, right? So it was a lot of, you being on a tight leash because there was nothing you could do. When I went to high school, I decided to go to high school way across town from where I live in Williamsburg, right? And the reason why I decided that, because I wanted to be so far off that motherfucking leash that my mom and dad had on me, that I had to go as farthest as I could without them yanking me back, which was all the way out to Williamsburg. It was Williamsburg. It was still Brooklyn. So they wasn't as nervous. Not to mention, I never got suspended in school. I never got in trouble. I was in an honors program my whole life. I never gave my parents a reason to worry about me in school. So when I got in high school, they just assumed that I would continue to perform the way I performed in junior high and in elementary, right? But they were sadly mistaken, because as soon as I got my ass in high school, I said, school safety told me I'm going to get paid whether you here or not. So I went out the side door every chance that I got into it. Got to a point I never came in the door to go out the door. Right? I was cutting up a storm, doing what I wanted, smoking weed, drinking, falling asleep at my homeboy house from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, getting away. It was just a mess, right? My parents was none the wiser, right? Making up report cards, all types of drama. So the last thing was, I had so many excessive absences, but we didn't have a house phone, and they would send things through the mail, but I had a mailbox key, so I would intercept a lot. So my parents didn't know that I was getting kicked out of the school, and I had got, for lack of a better word, a brackhead, because I can't actually say the word without YouTube being shady, but a brackhead, if you're from the hood, you know what that is. Take the B off. To take the B off, put a CR on, a bracket, right? To sign me out of school Act like she was my aunt signing me out of school. It was ghetto, right? So anyway, it had got to a certain point where my mom was like, okay, well, you getting up there. You in 11th grade now. We got to start talking about some senior stuff. I need to go up to the school. So I was like, I'm sorry? Yeah, I need to, we need to see what's going on because you graduated and we got to get prepared. And I'm like, mm-hmm. So in any event, me and Miss P, my girl, I got on the L train. We took it to Bedford and we got on up in Van Arsdale. We went in the building. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Hi, I'm here about my kid. So school safety is looking at me because I have not been in this school in about over a year. So school safety is looking at me like, you're who? So she was like, my daughter. So he was like, okay. So they went and got the dean. I cannot remember what this dean name was. He was Caucasian, short, had a thick mustache, glasses. If you was in Harry Van Arsdale anywhere from 1996 to 1998, you know who I'm talking about. I think his name started with an M. I got to ask Dio. Shout out my boy Dio from Van Arsdale. Still friends to this day. Right? I'm going to ask him right after this video. So anywho, they went and got him and they was like, hey, this mom is here to meet with a parent, boom, boom, about her daughter. So now he look at me like, bitch, I ain't seen you since you seen us. But I ain't saying nothing. I'm there like, yeah, great, yeah. So they take us to the main office. So he's like, what's the name again? So I give the name. He's going back and he started looking for stuff. Then he calls somebody else to the office. They looking for some. All this debacle, right? Finally, he comes back and he says, can you come in the office, right? So when me and my mom go to the office, he lay out a folder. And then he lay out my progress for when I was there. He lay out all the letters he sent home. He lay out what's the protocol. And he lay out when I got signed out. Again, me and my mother are like this, right? My mother is a class act. She's funny, she's crazy, she's rambunctious, she's loud. But what she is the epitome of class. So it's just certain things she's not going to do, right? So for her to start cursing and yelling at the school, hitting me, never. That's not her style, right? That's not even her style as a parent. So she looked at him. She looked at all the documentation. She looked at me. She said, can I take this with me? He said, sure, I'll make you a copy. Made a copy, a little foldy, put it in. So now we leave out. I am nervous Nancy because my mother being quiet is not a good thing. I'd rather her yelling at me because then that lets me know she just pissed for the moment. But when she's quiet, she is off your motherfucking ass, right? So I'm like, icky. So we walk to the train station. She quiet. Get on the train, quiet. Ride the train home, quiet. We get off the L train at our stop and we walk in from the train station to our house. And I went to say something to her like, Ma, you want? And she was like, don't speak to me. So I didn't know what to do because me and my mom had never been in an adverse space. So I was like, okay. Because I've never been told not to talk to you like you're my mom. I've always told you like what the hell is going on. So I'm like, okay. So then she turned and she looked at me. My mother has really beautiful hazel eyes. And I never figured she bust out crying. And what she said to me was, she said, Khadijah, if nothing else, I am hurt. And if nothing else, I'm disappointed. She said, and I'm not even disappointed that you flunked out of school or any of the above. I'm disappointed because every day for over a year, you was leaving my house and coming back into my home, looking me in my face, telling me something that was a total and complete fucking lie. How deceitful. The nerve of you. And to watch the tears roll down her face, to this day, I work my hardest to make my mom proud because seeing that look broke me. It broke me in ways that to this very day, I still can't verbalize. I never want my mother to feel like that as a result of my actions. So, circling back to your letter, right? I heard you say the two words, and I want to get this straight. You said, I don't want to be, it was two words you used. You said, so I don't have to be disappointed and disconnected, right? I think disappointed is a feeling that is going to take some time to get over. You're not going to be able to help that, right? I think disconnected is an action and a behavior that you can help. And the reason why I'm making a suggestion to try to work through that with your baby is because if you and him are as tight as you said you and him are, for you to disconnect from him in such a crucial time in his life is going to break him in ways that he will not be able to verbalize. Okay? It would also shift who he is as a man. Because for all of his life, he's only known his mother, and she's always had his back. She's always loved him. She's always been there for him. And now when he's in one of the most crucial moments in his life, which is becoming a father at 20 years old, which is very scary, you disconnected from him when he needed you the most. So I think that you saying help you because you don't want this to alter the relationship, I think if you make the decision to disconnect, it most certainly will for the rest of your lives. I think you took this personal because I think you feel like to some degree it's your fault. It's your fault that he dated an older woman. It's your fault that he kept it from you. It's your fault that he's having a baby at 20. This is your fault. There's no fault to place here, mommy. There's no fault to place. What I will say is this, right? I think because of the woman that you are, right, and what he's been exposed to, he would be attracted to an older woman because he's only been raised by you, who has showed him a mature and responsible adult. Maybe that's what this other woman reflects for him, which is why he chose her. Because he's at the University of Albany. He could have been with any one of them girls up there, right? And made a baby. That would have been very easy for him to do. I think that he probably was looking for a more mature and responsible woman because that's what he was raised by. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with you exposing him to, a mature and responsible adult woman. It's nothing wrong with that. So there's no fault or no blame to place, right? There's only actions and decisions and behaviors and how we deal with them after the fact. You are upset about this because in your mind, this is the end of the beginning, right? Let me rephrase that. It's the beginning of the end. So I think you think, he's going to have to drop out of school, a baby is going to ruin his life, so on and 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 so on. But I also think that according to you, you raise a stand-up young man that doesn't have to be the end result for him. That doesn't have to be it. You can put any opportunity on the table. And as a family and as a collective, you guys can all come together and make decisions that look best for you, the baby, the mama, and everybody else involved. Right? But disconnecting from him doesn't help him make the best decisions. You've been guiding and leading him his entire life. To stop now is not going to help him. It's only going to hurt him. And I'm keeping it real with you, mama love. It's going to hurt you too. You don't want to be disconnected from your baby, especially not at a time like this. Now, granted, you're disappointed. So you may have some choice words for your boy that he may not like. That's okay. That's okay. He's an adult now, and he may need to hear some real talk because he's embarking on an adult journey, which is having a child, right? So there's definitely some colorful words, as my homegirl using the other dear Deidre, that you might need to share with him as a grown man to let him know life is real. But at the end of the day, no matter how real life gets, the one thing that I know about parents who love you and who are committed to parenting, they stick by you no matter how real it gets. So even when you giving him those colorful words and you letting him know how real life is and you letting him know what needs to happen, moving forward so everybody could be safe and this space could be moved through productively, you're still supporting and loving him and having his back. But if you're disconnecting from him, that's not going to happen. And according to you, it has been you and baby boy all this time. You think disconnecting from him now is going to help him? It's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt you as well. It's going to rock the family more than the new baby that's coming in. So, Mama Love, as much as the auntie and me, and if I was your homegirl, would have been like, no, this raggedy ass bitch did not fuck your fucking son. You know, yeah, that's the human in me. But the healer in me feels like this could be a new opportunity for a new beginning, for a beautiful life. But that's because that can only happen if it's perceived that way and move forward in that way. But if you approach it from anger, violence, disconnect, disrespect, and everything that does not support something good and productive happening, then nothing good and productive will happen. Right? So my suggestion would be, it sounds like you're upset with both parties, right? So maybe having a woman to woman conversation with her, uh totally exclusive of him, because at the end of the day, like you said, she's in your friend group, so I'm guessing she is more closer to your age. And again, she might need some colorful words that your son don't need to hear, and he don't need to see that side of you. So you may need to tell her, I'm not happy about this, and I feel like fucking you up, but girlfriend, I do realize what's taking place, and I have to deal with the cards that I was dealt, right? So I think that you can have grown-up conversation with her. I think she's old enough to hear it. I think she's actually anticipating it, because I think she knows she was that ass fucking wrong, right? If nothing else, not only for screwing my son, from hiding it from me, and from getting fucking pregnant by him, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I think she's anticipating the colorful words, and it's okay for you to have them. What is not going to be okay is for you to hold on to that disdain and that malice towards her when she would be the mother of your potential grandchild. So once you have them words, you got to work on letting that shit go, because you need to move forward. Okay? I think you can have the colorful words with him. I think in doing so that you need to keep in mind, no matter how you may feel about the situation isolated, that's still your baby. That's still your baby. And he needs to know that no matter how upset and disappointed and hurt my mother is with me, she still got my motherfucking back. That's going to make a world of difference. Right? So I think that you can have the words with him. I think you could speak with them collectively and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I felt. But I think that prior to you doing so, you might need to come to some healing heart sessions and learn how to start healing and working through the trauma of those feelings. Because if not, you're going to be a hammer, and everything to you is going to look like a nail. So you're going to approach both of them banging and banging and banging. And I feel like if that's the way you approach the situation, not only will you lose the relationship that you could possibly have with a potential grandchild, you're going to lose the relationship that you have with your son, which I know you value, which is why you wrote this letter. So, Mama Love, you got work to do. And I know this sounds crazy. I know you're looking at this screen like, I got work to do. Bitch, I did all my work. I raised him. He's off at college, and I should be living my best life. You have work to do. Let me tell you something about the self-work. It is continuous. It is ongoing. It is the freaking infinity sign, okay? Self-work never ends, never stops. So I know you're probably annoyed because you feel like, bitch, this was my chance to live my best life. I didn't have time for this. But it's the cause that you were dealt. And I feel like the same way you were dealt the cause of dealing with a son without a dad, and you pushed and pumped through that and made it out on the other side, I think you'll make it out on the other side with this situation as well. It's all contingent upon how you approach it. And if you need Operation Heal 100 Hearts assistance with approaching it, baby girl, I'm here. I'm here. I want to be at the baby shower. I'm happy for you. Right? I just realized that you are upset because these are not the ideal circumstances, and this is not the future you wanted for your son. We all have our own path, baby girl. And no matter what you put in place for your son, he has to follow the path that God has set forth. You are not God. Okay? So that's what I got. That's what I got for you, mommy. That's what I got. I love you. That's what I got. Because I know you're looking at me like, Deja, you just gave me fucking homework when I don't need no work to do. Daily, I got it. I know the frustration and the human in you. But the healer in me is here to let you know that the human in you has to take a step back, and the healing that needs to happen within you has to come full force and full circle and to the front of the room, because if not, you're running the risk of losing the most important relationship in your life. And I do not want that for you. I do not want that for your future grandbaby, and I do not want that for you and your son. Okay? Okay. So hopefully, once again, I was able to heal a heart. I was able to help. I was able to get some things through. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not an expert on this. I just fly off the cuff. I do this from the mind, from the heart. And I want people to know that I do this with my best intention. You know, I just got emotional in my last video. I do this with my best intention because I know how it feels to be hurting. But I also know how it feels to get over that hump and come out on the other side and be victorious in the fact that you can heal, you can grow, and you will survive. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope I was able to help. I hope this Dear Deja helps. I hope that we change your tagline from your letter from being a regretful grandmother to a grateful grandmother. Okay? I pray. I hope to hear from you. I hope you come for a one-on-one session. I hope you even write another letter to let me know how things went. And once again, congratulations to you and baby boy. And let me know how things turned out. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still here. Make sure you have liked the video. Go like the video. Go like the video. Go subscribe to my channel. Go copy this link and paste it to somebody else and say, hey, girl, this was a good one. Thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. Happy holidays.